Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and we're jumping back into this game with Ctis. And yeah, we're deep in the late game here. One sign of that is our god is wishing for gems, just so we have a bit of flexibility in what type of gems we choose to spend. We don't get any kind of, we're not profiting from this at all. It's just a gem flexibility maneuver. Cast Record of Creation, we found a forgotten village. Not terribly good, but we'll certainly take one Blood Slave a turn. We're casting Tart. Looks like we're doing it twice per turn. And yeah, basically with Manfalling, we're waiting for Calum to Throne Rush. And hopefully we'll have that in this episode, because I believe it is up and coming. Forget who's this giant spider. I have a feeling this is a Merc. Pretty sure it's a Merc that got transformed. Oh yeah, it's this. Yeah, this is a Merc that has a Tomb of High Power on it, and we want to get the tomb off, so we're suiciding it. And we're successful, and we get the tomb off of it. So that was nice. I think it might have picked it up after combat. It's kind of an unlucky roll of who picked it up. If the Merc picks it up, you can't take it off of them. You have to kill the Merc. So that's what we did there. And we have Calum storming a fort here. Man is kind of just letting Calum take their stuff. They've tried to defend against, me as well as they could. There's really nothing left they have to threaten our stuff. But Ulm, they're really just doing their true last stand and trying to inflict as many casualties as they can. If you go back and look at that, I believe it's the last episode. I think Valen, the Ulm player, left a pretty good comment talking about all the things they were doing. I think he had 3 Wind of Deathcasters. I don't think Man has 3 Wind of Deathcasters anymore. I think I've killed 2 of them permanently now. But it's possible there's multiple. I mean, he at least still has 1 over here, but I doubt it's 3. Maybe it is. But here you can see the Calum negotiated provinces. We are preparing. So we've got in here about 200 worms. And we've patrolled out a lot of the stuff here. We're also going to be moving a lot of these ghouls, which we had been getting to accelerate some of the sieging. We're going to be moving them here in this throne. Ghouls are pretty good at holding up fort walls. Meanwhile, this throne has just a truly ungodly amount of stuff in it. We've got 600 siege defense here, plus, a lot of really strong worms defending it. We're also going to be moving... I think I'm going to be magic phase forting this, if not this turn, in a couple turns. But that's so that we can take this throne off of Calum when they start their throne rush. I don't know if do I have other... I don't really have that many thrones. We got this one, we got this one. This one also has a good amount of siege defense and a decent number of worms. It's also right next to the worm Love and Oven, where we're making a ton of these. So if he attacks here, we're going to have plenty of worms to attack him with. Our production, I'll kind of do a short overview of our production. Here's all of the Life After Death priests and mages we have. I'll just scroll through real quick. You can kind of just get a sense for the number. It's kind of a lot. Some of these are mages researching. Some of these are priests reanimating. So it's kind of a lot. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. Now that's just this one province. I've been spreading them out. Maybe not as much as I should, but a fair bit. And then some of these... So let's look at how many worms are leaving this turn. I think... Okay. I think it's just these. So 40 and then another... I think... Oops. 40 and then what is this? Another 40 and then 20. Yeah. So we've got about 100 worms we're making here a turn. In our capital, we've got another big batch. You can see here, I'll scroll through these a little these are pretty much all reanimators. And they're making... I'm not sure. I think there's another like 40 or 50. And then here's another one of our centers. And you can see we're making a lot here as well. This probably a lot less, probably like 20 something here. And then this, we're mostly making ghouls. So I've got a lot of our holy ones. I'm putting them in the... I'm going to take them basically throne to throne, and I'm going to completely depopulate all the thrones. So this one's already down to 1,000, but we're going to get it down to 0. That's going to do a few things. Ghouls, as I mentioned earlier, are good at holding up throne walls. So they're going to hold up the throne walls in case there's a kind of throne rush. But also it's going to make sure anybody that's putting an army on top is going to be starving unless they're bringing enough supply items. And it's not like we're Airmore or Pop Kill Nation. I mean, we've got some signs, right? But, I mean, we are Death 3 and no scales and... producing lots of undead sacreds, but we're not Airmore, I promise. So people don't really expect when they're invading or attacking, like, hey, I'm going to need to bring supply items for literally every unit in my army. But once we get this down to a 0 population, that will be pretty close to the truth. Yeah, we're going to be looking to do this at all of our thrones. And yeah, so anyway, that's going to be happening. It's going to be a little moving circus as we move those guys around. I don't think I've got domes or anything up. But yeah, basically the name of the game, I'm expecting Calum, so taking this fort, I'm expecting these Calum guys are going to come basically right over here, and then they're going to throne rush. But it's not going to be just this, which is unsupported troops. We're finally going to see the Calum Golden Armada, which, as I understand it, is a bunch of their, Calum gets a ton of unique mages. So it's the Yazads and the Devanas, or whatever they're called. And they're going to have a bunch of temporary gem items on them, so they can't be gem baited, and armor, so they can't be killed from flames from the sky, or things like that. And so all the mages are going to be protected, and then they're going to just march over here and kill me. But not just me, it's going to be everybody else too. So it's going to be a question of, like, can Arco defend this throne? Can Arithia defend this throne? Can Ulm, I think Ulm owns this throne, can Ulm defend this one? So there's going to be a bunch of different challenges, but Calum's got a lot of thrones they have to get still. They've got 3 claimed. I think they might have a 4th. But they're going to have to get 4 more. That's a lot of thrones to get. Now, it's something birds are totally capable of doing. Like a 4th throne rush is not that hard for birds. If you can win the fights. But that's going to be the trick. They're going to have a real hard time winning against me. And I think if they can't win against me, they're going to have an even harder time winning against everybody else. Because that means any armies they throw at me are just going to die. And then that means they have to take 4 thrones off everybody else. And that's now very hard. Because if they're going to, like, let's say they lose 2 armies on me, 1 here and 1 here. Well, those 2 dead armies would have been really useful trying to take thrones off other people. So, anyway, let's go ahead and go to the next turn, turn 69. Okay, so throne 69. We can see Ulm claiming the throne of life here. So that's nice. Record of Creation, don't find anything. We've cast Phantasmal Attack. We've started doing this. It's actually a better way to do the life after death conversion. It's a lot longer of a battle, so we're going to get more of a conversion. But we've got this down to a reasonably okay science. Though I say that and we hardly convert anybody. The hell? Yeah, we only converted 13 dudes. So that was actually a pretty low conversion rate. I'm sure that was something I did wrong. Wished for gems again. Tarts are going out. We should probably check in on the tart factory. We've got these 2, which are commanders, which is really nice. If we have a way to get the afflictions off of them, that's going to be wonderful. Here's my stockpile of tarts, and a lot of these actually don't have feeble-minded. So I think pretty much everybody on this commander is not feeble-minded. So we have a pretty big crew that we can gift of reason. The thing is because we are wishing for gems, our pearls are more valuable. So we definitely don't want to do divine. There basically are 2 spells to convert units into commanders: Divine Name and Gift of Reason. Divine Name uses pearls. Gift of Reason uses nature. And pearls are way more expensive to us, so we definitely don't want to use the pearls. But we're also kind of want to save up on nature gems. You can see we are casting Gift of Reason here, but we are saving up on nature gems. We are going to want to... I have a feeling we're going to need to be able to overcast Gift of Nature's Bounty at some point. So, and we don't have much to spend nature gems on. It will be nice to have some tarts. Like, we've got this one who's insane. What are they? They're muttering right now, but like, this is a really good unit, so this will be really nice to have. Yeah, this can, like, magic phase on top of things and do crazy shit. Or we might just put them in an army where they will probably get magic dueled at some point. But yeah. In terms of Calum, we don't really have too much movement. They've taken another fort from man, so maybe they were waiting on this one. Presumably, maybe they meet up here next turn and then here. We'll see. The throne rush is imminent. We'll go ahead and go to the next turn, and then we'll maybe talk a bit more. All right, this is turn 70. And with turn 70, we have... Did we Record of Creation? I don't see that this turn. Man apparently teleported somebody on top of me. What was this about? Arrowfend, Wind Guy? That might have been a misclick. He might have been teleporting into here or something, because Ulm has put this under siege. Ulm is about ready to wrap up here with man. And this is a scary-ass army. It's Ghoul Guardians, Zweihanders, Bone Fiends. There's probably also some hidden Fiends of Darkness, if I had to bet. But yeah, Ill Earth, Vampire Counts and stuff. This is going to be a really spooky army. And he's also, I believe, been murdering wintering this. You can see it's cold here. So he's been murdering wintering it, so there's really not much resistance. There's a Magister here and a Lich. Let's see what Lich this is. Is this a casual Lich or a tryhard Lich? It's a casual Lich. Okay. Oh yeah, this is... So he must have just been attacked. Maybe this... I'm not actually sure what this was, because it cast Arrowfend. Makes me think he meant to send it somewhere else. But this is a reasonable place for him to raid, you know? So I'm not totally sure. Okay, Throne Rush Army moving into position. We're sounding the alarm, by the way. He hasn't attacked anything, but we're like, okay. And Ulm also owns this throne. So I remember we were like, dude, Ulm, you got to defend this throne. He's like, dude, I don't have anybody over there. I think he's like, owns the fort, and it's not even like a really big fort. And we're like, what can you put there? And so Ulm's like scrambling to try to figure out what to do. He's like trying to figure out how to magic face stuff inside this fort. We're like, dude, we've been talking about this throne rush for like 15 turns, and he's got this throne like completely undefended. So this army's going to come up here probably and snipe this throne. This one's going to come down here and attack this one. And I believe there's also this one, which is going to come snipe this throne. So birds are moving into position for their throne rush. There are also birds that are going after this throne. I don't think anybody's going after this one, but somebody is. They're also making a play, I think, for this one if they don't have it already, or maybe it was this one. One of these two they're going for. Maybe it's this one. So they've got quite a few golden armadas, these big armies that have just been apparently decked out with all the things. Like you can see there's a Devia of Frost and Snow, Harab Elders, a bunch of things. And we get to ready our defenses, so this is going to be fun. So we have options. The siege defense we have here is 650. That actually, it sounds like an enormous amount, but birds are so good at sieging. So this is an army of like, let's say 600 birds to be conservative. And it's these... I think he has Storm Guard. So their siege strength is 2. So like, okay, if it's 600 times 2, that's 1,200. So they're still going to pop this in like 2 turns if we were to sit everything inside. And we could do that, but we don't have flames from the sky. Oh, no, we do. Oh, no, we're 1 away. So we almost have flames from the sky. We'll have it in a couple turns. So we might be able to hold out and just flames from the sky him, but I'm pretty sure we can win. And I'd rather take a fight than sit inside my fort. And the good thing is that, I mean, it might be optimal play to like put a gym bait here, see what he's doing, test it, counter it. But I feel strong enough about my ability to kill this army, and I'd rather seize the initiative, right? Because if we let him get on top of our fort, he could go jump around to this fort while keeping this one locked down, and then I have to fight this whole army on top of this fort while he storms it. I think this player's just going straight for a throne rush, where they wouldn't just jump around like that. But, for example, I don't know, I don't like having that vulnerability, right? Because I think a very good Calum player, that especially one that's not like hyper fixated on a throne rush, would very much like love to put this fort under siege, and then like I'm going to gym bait him, right? Probe him, see what he's going to do by patrolling with like a little gym bait dude. But then he leaves this under siege and he moves on to another fort, maybe like this one, and I can't get there in time, right? Or he moves on to this one, and I can't get there in time with an army that can kill his doomstack. So we're not going to play that game. We are patrolling with a ton of stuff. We've got these guys moving, patrolling. We've got these guys patrolling. We've got these guys patrolling. We've got these guys patrolling. We've got Aela doing Fog Warriors. We've got Skeletal Legion coming up, which is so good against birds with spears. So Skeletal Legion is going to be absolutely ridiculous. We've got Rigor Mortis coming up. It's going to put them all to sleep. We've got Anti-Magic. We've got just so much stuff coming in. What's this Fire Mage doing? Oh, he's casting Breath of the Winter. Breath of the Desert. I probably should have been casting it previously. It's really only going to matter for subsequent turns if I have to fight him again. Because if he wins, the other thing, so like, on one level, it's not a great idea for me to patrol. I have no idea what he's coming with. I don't know what he's going to do. But we're also doing Darkness, Life After Death, some Swarm, Disintegrate. We've got some casual Banefire casters. But on one hand, I don't know what he's going to do. I should probe. But I have backup plans. So even if this whole army dies, we can Magic Phase move with our God. And our God has 200, like we can just gateway with this whole army with our God inside. And what if he does win this fight, which I think is unlikely, it's going to be very hard for it to go through this fort wall. And then I just Magic Phase, like gatewaying my God in is also going to bring in like 200 siege strength. So it could just completely block them putting it up, and then my God could do iron walls and they would never take it. So we've got like redundancy. If this doesn't work, we have some backups. We're also patrolling. Oh no, this one we're not patrolling. I think this one we actually are gym baiting. Wait, who's patrolling here? It can't just be this guy, right? I almost certainly should have patrolled with... I don't know why I'm not. But I should have patrolled with one of the Sauromancers just to gym burn. But it appears I'm not doing that. We are summoning a Troll King. I know one of the reasons I didn't want to take a fight here was because I didn't have really good Earth Magic. So we're getting a Troll King, and then I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable taking a fight. Yeah. Where's this guy going? Yeah, we're moving out a proper army here too as well. The idea is, as Calum throne rushes, we are going to be going on the offensive. So we're moving an army here, not to stop the throne rush, but to take Calum's stuff. And we've probably also, we're basically attacking all the Calum provinces this turn. So this army here that was in Man, that we used to take Man's capital, it's not coming back to like, oh no, we might need to come back and take this. No, we're going after Kalem forts. So we're coming over to pop this. We're raiding here. I had mentioned to you earlier that we were going to magic phase fort this, and we did. We magic phase forted the wizard tower. We moved a bunch of worms here. We've got what I consider to be like kind of the core medium army commitment, which is basically some skeleton traff to help with sieging. We've got a guy to do darkness. I don't know what this guy's doing. Probably Skeletal Legion. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. We should have another D4 to do Rigor Mortis. But yeah, so this actually is not an ideal thing. But basically, it's Darkness, Rigor Mortis, and Skeletal Legion is kind of our little wombo combo here. Backed up with a little bit of Banefire and Drain Life spam. So yeah, anyway, we're moving them on top of this throne. And yeah, we're basically just going full ham on the offense. I think we're probably sending horrors here. It's going to be a fun turn. In fact, I was thinking, hey, maybe we delay it, and I'll do it in the next episode. But no, let's get into it. Let's do it this one. So turn 71, we've got the actual throne rush coming up. I'll see you in it. Okay, so this was a really exciting turn. Everybody was on high alert. We knew Kalem was throne rushing, and indeed they were, right? So you can see they're attacking. They had naps with a bunch of the people they were attacking. I don't think they had a nap with me. Maybe they did. But they told me they were planning on throne rushing abstractly. But I'm like, okay. Anyway, I'm not butthurt at all about them. Basically because they were pretty open and it was kind of obvious and they didn't ever choose to deny it. Still, I don't think it's polite. Like, I don't know. I don't recommend any of you go out and throne rush, like violate naps to throne rush. There's just, you can throne rush without doing that. I don't know. Anyway, I don't like throne rushing in general, but I will say of all the throne rushes, this has probably been the most fun one, just because like we knew it was coming and we got to prepare, but we had no idea what was actually going to hit us. I mean, we got to see the armies, but we didn't know the mages in it, how they were scripted, how many gems. I didn't know if it was going to be like Supermass Air Elemental with tons of like Fog Warriors and Army of Gold on top of all of them. You know, there's just a bunch they can do. So anyway, let's see what happens. We cast Infernal Disease. We got a Spinta Fire, which was a really lucky roll. But that Spinta Fire was successful in defending herself. Or themselves. What is that? It's a he? I don't know. Yeah, he. So yeah. Just drops Incinerate and deletes him. Shit. We cast it again. We get a Deva of Frost and Snow. These are pretty valuable. So this is a Manifestation cast. And yoink. Yeah. Doing these basically just to like frustrate whatever plans and movement they have. But again, I don't know anything about the composition. I don't know if he has a lot of commanders, a little. It looks like there's fewer commanders than probably we were thinking. Just because these targeted really high value mages, that'd be less likely if there was a lot of commander chaff. Record of Creation didn't find anything. Sorry for you Record of Creation fans out there. Okay. So this was the Lich that Man attacked us with. This is certainly not the main event, but this is our Pokemon Golem. And our goal here is to Soul Slay him. This guy's doing False Horrors. And one Soul Slay off. It's not looking like we're getting another Soul Slay here. I can't remember if we actually get him. I probably should get to the main event. I'm kind of teasing you guys. Doesn't look like we Soul Slay him after all. We magic phase this army. I think we Jimbei. This is the... I can't remember which one this was. Oh no, this is a fort. Okay, we're just raiding here, actually. Unsuccessfully. We hit this with Ghost Riders. And we'll take this with the scout subsequently. And so the big battles are going to be where Calum's attacking us. So those are what we're going to watch. And I'm going to watch it without spoiling it. Okay, so here is the Calum Golden Armada, in a way. Now, we're going to talk about the things... Oh, okay, we'll just look real quick at what's here, and then we'll talk about stuff. So these are Harib Seraphs. They're going to be Skelly spamming. He's got this guy who's going to be doing... I'm not quite sure. I'm guessing, like, maybe life after death or something. Another big Earth Mage, presumably to do Army of Gold. And then he's got this guy to do Wailing Winds or Fog, no, maybe Fog Warriors on this guy. And then these are all mages in their little pajamas back here, presumably to do Air Elementals. He's used, he spammed these out. Now, I priced these Storms in a Bottle at 15, where they're probably not very efficient for Air Elemental summoning, especially in like a Throne Rush situation where you're not fighting like fight after fight. You know, you could use these guys, these items to like economically summon Elementals. If you're going to be fighting every turn for like 15 turns, they would certainly pay themselves back. You know, they pay themselves back after only like 8 battles. You know, fewer if you use a hammer. But I think even still, it's really, you really are, I don't think it's a great use for Air Elementals. You know, if you're going to be summoning them in every fight, maybe. Regardless. You know, like if you were going to definitely summon them. But a lot of times when you're doing Air Elementals, like you don't want to do Air Elementals in every fight most of the time. Like most of the time you want to summon them in like the big fight, but not in smaller ones. Anyway. But this player's taken to like really slamming like temp gem items on almost all the mages. Like look at all these mages. They've got, presumably this guy's going to do Quickening, which I really like the idea of. So it's cool, but you can see they're decked out. There's some things I'm not sure they're going to do that are really important. He's also got a Storm Staff. Like, I think what you want to do... I love the idea of Quickening. I think the other thing maybe is, like, Weapons of Sharpness would be really good. I don't know how he's going to get anti-magic type things up, but that's really important versus Blood Vengeance. So hopefully we'll see him do that. The armor's, of course, really nice, but you can see we're not in heat. I mean, we're not in cold, so... You know, these guys aren't getting crazy protection. On our side... Oh, so this must be the throne. Okay, so this actually is not going to be terribly exciting. We'll just watch these guys stomp us then. I didn't put out enough to gym bait, which I was saying is a problem. I totally should have. That was like just a unforced error on my part. So... this was the Throne Province near Patala. And yeah, it's under siege now, and I'm sure that fort is pretty close to being popped. I think we had 600 siege strength there. This was him attacking us in Mir, and I believe Mir is our important throne. Yeah, okay. So this is the other army here. So this has his hero, the third Heavenborn. Who's pretty sick. I believe it's a hero. Huge Earth Mage. Weapons of Sharpness is one of the things I really want to see. Big Nature Mage, so that could be cool. Do mass regen. It's going to be really nice dealing with like with the Blood Vengeance chip damage coming in. Yeah, so I don't know. It's a big army. With a lot of mages. I'm not really sure all the things it's doing, but it's up against a very formidable army from our side. There potentially are problems, like these guys don't have dark vision, so as soon as darkness goes up, they're going to have pretty awful stats. And Skeletal Legion is going to ruin them. We've also got Wailing Winds going on our side, I believe. It's from our Golem. That was the other consideration, too, for not taking both throne battles. Because I can move this Horror Harmonica through the lab to be present at the second throne battle. And the Horror Harmonica really is just like another layer of protection in making sure I win these battles. Yeah. I'm not sure what I would do as Calum to actually decidedly win this, but the key things are they're definitely going to need weapons of sharpness. They need the battle to be kind of quick. If they had tarts, they might be able to hold up battlefield enchantments that are like evocation style things, but otherwise the worms are going to bring down anything else that tries to do that. I don't know. We'll just watch. Yeah, it's not a good look for the birds. Finish him. Yeah, it's a bad day. I don't think he killed anything. This is Mir, right? Yeah, so he had 6 Harab Elders, 10 Harab Seraphs, a Spent of the Plants, Storm General. The hero made it away. We killed the Yazad of Justice. He had 400 Stormguard, and Stormguard are kind of the premier Calum unit. He could have maybe been spamming Woven Winter at my Thrones. That would have been smart. I didn't have a dome up. And we got a tremendous amount of gear from these guys. I mean, that was amazing. It was really a gift. We lost 2 Tomb Worms. So, yeah. Calum saw that and they were like, all right, guys, the Throne Rush isn't going to work. Now, it still can work because technically I think you could still get enough thrones. This fort isn't popped yet. Presumably he's going to commit and try to break it. It is reasonably low. He'll pop it next turn, but we ain't waiting for next turn. We're riding out. And I believe we got the Horror Harmonica on a different golem. We got Thuella here. It's basically going to be the exact same deal with all the same buffs. And we've got the Troll King we just summoned, and he's going to be going ham. So yeah, this... And there's also the people who ran, like when I said they survived, they didn't, because we were actually patrolling retreat routes with like modest amount of things. We didn't end up needing to. He didn't prepare a retreat path for himself, which he should have done. Like he should have probably attacked this province or something, which we had a fair amount of PD here and a mage with some gems to do corpse candles, which might have killed something if he did like a very low commitment raid. But if he did a medium commitment raid, it almost certainly would have won. So anyway, he didn't protect retreat routes for the army, so the whole army got destroyed and everybody's dead. I think this scout might have been a gym mule as well. Oh no, it wasn't. Okay, but yeah, so he's in a tough spot. This army wiped off the face of the earth. This fort is put under siege, but hasn't been popped yet. I think somehow there's some Calum birds that got left behind. I'm not actually sure. I don't know why this isn't popped, but I think Ulm is going to make a play at running at it. We do get to see a pretty cool battle. Man rides out here against Ulm. So this is a Wind of Death spam attack, and he had some chaff in front to help deal with it. But most of these guys you can see are not decayed. I'm looking for the decay tag as I click around. This one finally got it, this Blood Slave. But most things didn't get decayed. So yeah, he got like 11 guys, which is not much. Some of them got converted. Like a fair number of those Y-handers got. We'll take a look at the guy casting it. It was this Lich with, you can see his full pin gear. Yeah, it was ready to rock and roll. So cast it twice. Yeah. Did the Lich get killed? The Lich got sent. Did the Lich have a Ring of Returning? Because that doesn't work, my bro. Yeah, Ring of Returning, which is a ring of instant death when you don't own your capital. Don't put the Ring of Returning on if you don't own your capital. Now the Lich is dead. And then Man storms the fort. So that Wind of Deathplay was a great gem bait, except for the fact, he probably should have just had the Lich cast it a few more times and not have the Ring of Returning on it. But yeah, so anyway, Man's been put down now. Ulm is a free agent, ready to go. Birds are on his throne, and I believe they might have one turn left to pop it. But this army right here is actually kind of garbage. I believe so. It's got a Father Ill-Earth. He moved some of the things out, but he's very much not confident in this army taking this throne. Because Calum does have a fair commitment of stuff here. Calum has moved on top of everybody else's throne, but hasn't popped, I don't think, anybody's yet. Arco did not ride out and fight him like I did. He basically did the move that I did over here, where we just kind of bent over and let him jump on our fort. So, but Arco's way ahead of me in research and has flames from the sky. So Arco's been preparing to light up Calum. I think they're on this throne with like 3 or 4 flames from the sky, and it's just going to completely nuke them from orbit. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that. And we've moved on top of a lot of other forts. We've moved on top of this, and we're going to storm it with a small portion of our army. A still reasonably sized portion of our army, but we're going to go and raid out with other portions and move more of our troops on top of this fort. We're just going to try to roll over Calum right now. We're going to be storming this with these guys, just these 2 guys. So basically Divine Blessing. And this guy's just going to be a thug killer in case there's some thug inside. While the main portion of our army rolls out this way and is going to come up and make a play for Patala. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting turn. Tune in next time, because we'll be covering... I don't have the exact game chat to share like exactly what happens with some of these thrones that they're going after. So hopefully some of those players can provide some of that detail in the comments. But yeah, tune in next time and we'll go through. We're gonna have a fun turn. We're gonna have to fight this Calum army, and then we're gonna have just lots and lots of raiding as the Calum War intensifies. My goal is to basically eat all of Calum, or as much as I can, and then I'm going to be ready to fight the world. Now, there's a question, we'll talk about it in the next episode, but there's a question who Ulm is going to side up on, or side up with. Ulm and I have worked together on a lot of things now. They could side up with me, or they could side up with Arco and with Arithia. There's pros and cons to it. I think on the surface, it looks like they should definitely side up with them and 3v1 me. But there's complications to that, and we'll get to it. But anyway, we'll talk about that next time. See you then.